Today's rally for Israel in D.C. was the beginning of the Democrats' campaign, Trump is Hitler. You're going to be beaten over the head with this for the next 11 months. Oh, Andrew, can't you just give it a rest for 5 minutes and take comfort in the bipartisanship? No, because there's no such thing. Democrats are for the party above all. Like any faction of Marxists, communists, and socialists, membership, rank, and power come before everything else. But okay, all right. I'm a nice guy. Let's say there are some Democrats that really do stand with Israel. They know there's no way to win in 2024 without the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-baby baking, pro-rape as a tool of terrorism, tearing down posters of hostages crowd. That was a lot. But I'll say it like this. Not all Democrats want to kill Jews, but all the people who want to kill Jews are Democrats. See my picture of the squad? Where's my picture of the squad? Were they at the rally today? Where's my picture of the squad? There they are. There they are. Pro-Hamas scarves and all. Stings, don't it? So they're going to have to both sides this. Actually, it's going to have to be three ways. First, they're going to promise the unyielding support for Israel to keep Jewish voters from fleeing. But then they'll have to make a cause out of Islamophobia, as if there's some group of people out there chanting for the deaths of Muslims. There's no equivalent from the river to the sea. But Jewish voters, and more importantly, Jewish donors, will not tolerate the both-siding. So Democrats will have to counterweight by drilling down on Trump is Hitler. So here it goes. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
All of you are here showing we will not hide in the face of adversity in America and in Israel. Am Yisrael Chai. 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 The people Israel here in America and in Israel, the Jewish people will live forever.
You've unleashed a whirlwind, Hamas. You won't know what hit you. Right after that was a more sedate Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
The calls for a ceasefire are outrageous.
A laundry list of people got up to speak, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, a guy that's been an apologist for anti-Semitism his whole damned life. He comes from a family of Jew haters. But because he's a Democrat, that's all been forgiven. Here's from back in April. Headline CNN, Hakeem Jeffries' vague recollection of controversy surrounding his uncle undermined by college editorial defending him. Quote, while Jeffries was a college student at Binghamton University in upstate New York, the Black Student Union, in which Jeffries was an executive board member, invited his uncle to speak on campus after his inflammatory comments caused an uproar. And in a previously unreported college editorial, Jeffries defended his uncle, along with Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, writing, "Do you think that a ruling elite would promote individuals who would seek to dismantle their vice-like grip on power?" He added that they were unfairly targeted by the white media for challenging the long-standing distortion of history. Leonard Jeffries faced widespread backlash in the early 1990s after comments he made about the involvement of rich Jews in the African slave trade and a conspiracy planned and plotted and programmed out of Hollywood of Jewish executives who he said were responsible for denigrating black Americans in films. But that doesn't matter because Trump is Hitler.
People would get legitimately elected. And then they would try to do away with elections and do away with opposition and do away with a free press. And you could see it in countries where, well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right.
Right? And so all of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, those dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies, would be like, oh, okay, we're going to shut this down. We're going to throw these people in jail. And they didn't usually telegraph that. Trump is telling us what he intends to do.
So this is it. This is the playbook. This is how they're going to do it. And it's going to be all over the media for the next 11 months. Right, Nicole Wallace?
I think there's ground that's covered in betrayal where you reported, let's deal with Hitler, okay?
Okay.
Trump's affinity for Hitler was always covered under an umbrella of his stupidity, right? People like General Kelly were like, oh, you must not get it. You must not mean Hitler's army, right? I mean,
he would talk about the brilliance of Hitler's generals.
Correct.
General Kelly, yes.
Correct. And you've got some reporting about Merkel. I want you to explain that. I'm going to read that. But tell me how Trump sees Hitler.
Who's the biggest Jew hater of them all over there? Is it Sharpton? Is it Ali Velshi, Mehdi Hassan, Velshi Hassan? Okay, we'll go with Mehdi Hassan.
It was a word frequently used by Nazis to dehumanize Jewish people during the Holocaust. For example, according to historical accounts, in 1939, Adolf Hitler told the Czech foreign minister, quote, "This vermin must be destroyed. The Jews are our sworn enemies." Now, this isn't the first time Trump has been caught echoing the rhetoric of Nazis and white supremacists. A few weeks ago, he said that undocumented immigrants were, quote, "poisoning the blood of our country," which again echoes the rhetoric of Hitler, who made similar remarks in Mein Kampf.
You know, Mar-a-Lago means from the sea to the lake, kind of like the river to the sea. Well, that's it. Trump wants to eradicate Israel from his bunker at Mar-a-Lago. They're going to be pulling at this, for the next 11 months. Just a few observations about this rally that was not attended by anyone on the left. Nobody was assaulted. No American flags were torn down. Actually, we saw American flags everywhere. We even saw some pride flags. Oh, my God. I don't see anyone care. I know there's a lot of people on the left at these Palestinian rallies, but I don't see any pride flags. Okay? There was no bigotry. There was no racism. Nothing was vandalized. Wow, pretty amazing. I guess, when you don't have Antifa or whatever, everything goes just fine. There's a pretty happy, peaceful crowd there. So if the Democrats are going to make an appearance on this stage and they are going to, at least in public, support Israel because they have to, the only way to hold their coalition together which is on both sides, is to try to convince Muslims they are somehow the victim here, right? The whole ceasefire thing. So they're going to pledge millions of dollars to civic organizations and to study Islamophobia, except there is no equivalent of the river to the sea at Intifada coming from Jewish people, okay? That's not happening. But the other side of that is there's going to be a little tolerance among Jewish voters for what appears to be the both siding of this. So the only way to counter that, Trump is Hitler, because they know many Jews will go vote Republican. When push comes to shove, if the Democrat Party seems insufficiently pro-Israel and pussyfoots around with the anti-Semites. So the way to counter that obvious rot of anti-Semitism, which is coming from only one direction, the Democrat Party, they've got to manufacture Trump is Hitler. Yes, the guy who did the Abraham Accords, moved the embassy to Jerusalem, the guy who didn't have a restricted country club and let the Jews in, and whose daughter's an Orthodox Jew raising his grandchildren Orthodox Jewish. Oh, and did real estate in New York. That guy's Hitler. That's the only thing they got going into 2024.